Hello students, this is Shweta Roy. This video is for Chapter 2 Civics Part 1 Kings and Kingdoms in the Early Medieval Period. Now in this video we are going to discuss about origin of the new kingdoms, the Gurjara and Pratihar, the Palas, the Rashtrakutras, the tripartite struggle, the Rajputs. So these are some of the kings and kingdoms which we are going to discuss in this video. So the first topic is origin of the new kingdoms. Now by the 7th century AD, big landlords or warrior chiefs gained great importance in the kingdoms. The king acknowledged them as the subordinates or samantas. These samantas collected taxes and controlled over these regions. They bought gifts and provided military support to their kings. As the Samantas gained power and wealth, they declared themselves as Mahasamantas, Mandaleshwars, and sometimes as independent rulers. For example, the Rashtrakutas in Deccan were initially subordinate to Chalukyas of Karnataka. In other cases, men used their military skills to establish kingdoms. For example, Kadamba, Mayusharman and the Gujara Pratihara Harichandra, they gained used their military skills to establish their kingdom. So the first dynasty which we are going to discuss about is the Gurjara and Pratihara, that is AD 725 to 1018. In AD 725, the Gurjara Pratihara rose to the power in the area of Avanti or Rajasthan and Gujarat under the Nagarbhatta I. He ruled. The Nagarbhatta I ruled from AD 725 to 750. In AD 738, he defeated the Arab Muslims of Sindh and pushed them back. Now Bhoja I was the most famous ruler of this dynasty, and he ruled from AD 836 to 885. And his empire stretched from Kashmir to Narmada and from Gujarat to Bengal. So you can see such a huge area was covered by this Bhoja I. He captured Kannauj and made it his capital. He was devotee of Lord Vishnu and adopted the title of Advraha. King Bhoja was succeeded by his son Mahendrapal I, who ruled from AD 885 to 908. He extended his empire over Magad and North Bengal. The last Pratihara ruler was Rajyapal. He was attacked and defeated by Mahmud of Ghazni in AD 1018. And in this way, the Pratihara dynasty came to an end. So first you can see, the first was Nagarbhatta 1, and after that the famous ruler was Bhoja 1, and after him Mahendrapala 1, and the last Pratihara ruler was Rajyapal. The Pratihara rulers were great patron of art, craft, learning and literature. They built magnificent temples and buildings in Kannauj, as Kannauj was their capital. Second, we have the Palas. The Pala dynasty was founded by Gopala. He was elected as a king by the nobles because the previous ruler has died issueless. Now his capital was at Patliputra. Dharampala and Devapala were the most famous rulers of this dynasty. They extended and consolidated the Pala Empire. They ruled over Bihar, Bengal and parts of Odisha and Assam, with many ups and downs for over 4 centuries. That means 400 years. In the middle of 12th century AD, Vijay Sena, who was the founder of Sena dynasty, defeated the Palas. The Senas lost their kingdom to Bakhtiyar Khalji at the end of 12th century AD. And the Palas were great patrons of learning and religion. Dharampala founded the most Buddhist monastery most famous Buddhist monastery at Vikramshila. Now this Vikramshila University became second only to Nalanda University in fame as center of higher learning. So Nalanda University was at first and Vikramshila University was at the second number. During the Pala region, the fame of Nalanda University spread all over the world. Then we have the Rashtrakutas, which is AD 753 to 973. When the Gurjara and Pratiharas were ruling over northern and western India and Palas over eastern India, the Deccan was being ruled by Rashtrakutas. So you can see on the northern and western India we were having Gurjara and Pratihara. On the eastern area we were having Palas, and in between on the Deccan Rashtrakutas were ruling. They were initially subordinate to the Chalukyas of Karnataka. In AD 753, Danti Durga, a Rashtrakuta chief, declared independence from his Chalukyan overlord. As we already discussed that many of the subordinates declared themselves independent ruler, he performed a ritual called Hiranyagarbha, the golden womb, with the help of Brahmins to become a Kshatriya king. In this way, Danti Varman, who is also known as Danti Durga, became a founder of this dynasty. His capital was at Manakya Khet or Malkhet, near modern Sholapur in Maharashtra. Now we have Danti Durga was succeeded by his uncle Krishna I. He extended his kingdom up to Karnataka. Dhruva and Govinda III extended the empire further. Amogh I ruled for 64 years from AD 814 to 878. The Rashtrakuta ruler Krishna III defeated the Chola ruler Parantaka I in AD 949. His army reached up to Rameshwaram. There he built a pillar of victory and a temple. In this way, the Rashtrakutas became more powerful. The Rashtrakuta rulers not only patronized Shaivism and Vaishnavism, but also Jainism, Buddhism and Islam were present there. Now, in the field of literature, they gave equal patronage to Sanskrit, Prakrit and Kannada language. The Kailash temple at Ellora, built by Krishna I in 9th century AD, is an unrivaled and magnificent piece of art. Now we have tripartite struggle. The rulers belonging to Gurjara, Pratihara, Pala and Rashtrakutas dynasties often fought for control over Kannauj. Kannauj was the capital of Gurjara and Pratihara. So all other wanted to control over the Kannauj. Now Kannauj was then a symbol of sovereignty. It was well situated in northern plains. Therefore, whoever captured Kannauj could control the Ganga valley. Now, since there were three parties in this long drawn conflict, historians describe it as the tripartite struggle. Three means three. A party means three parties. So these three kingdoms were almost equal in strength. So the victory of one king over the other did not last very long. They were equally strong, equally strengthened. These kingdoms were so busy in fighting among themselves that they did not realize how weak they had all become. They were continuously fighting, and in that they were losing their strength, they were losing their economic also. So around the end of 10th century AD, these powers declined almost simultaneously. Other dynasties came into existence over their territories. Most of these were Rajputs. Now here we have Rajputs. So Rajputs are well known for their bravery, honor and prestige in Indian history. And some of the famous Rajput dynasties which ruled during this period were the Gahadavlas of Kannauj, Parmaras of Malwa, Chandelas of Khajuraho, Chauhans of Ajmer, Kalachuris of Tripuri, Chalukyas of Gujarat, and Tomars of Delhi. So these are some of the well-known Rajputs who ruled in this period. I hope you all understood all the topics taught in this video. Thank you.